Picture this, you're a widowed sheriff, fresh off a promotion, sipping coffee at dawn when a screeching banshee in designer clogs charges across the street, accusing your official patrol car of being a neighborhood blight that'll tank property values faster than a sinkhole. Little does this self-appointed HOA overlord know. She's just poked a bear who sniffs out crooks for a living, and her petty power trip is about to unravel into a web of fraud that'll land her in federal cuffs. Buckle up, folks, because this tale of suburban tyranny gone wrong is packed with the kind of ironic twists that make you laugh through gritted teeth. Let me set the scene properly. My name's Alex Rivera, and 6 months back, I was piecing my life together after cancer stole my wife, leaving me with 2 tween daughters and a mountain of bills that could have buried Mount Rushmore. The promotion to county sheriff came just in time, but it meant downsizing from our cozy family home to Elmwood Meadows, a cookie-cutter suburb where every house looks like it was stamped from the same beige mold, lawns manicured to within an inch of their lives, and the air thick with the unspoken rule, conform or be crucified. The HOA pamphlet gushed about harmonious living and upholding excellence, but what it really meant was a playground for control freaks who treated bylaws like holy writ. Enter Carla Simmons, the HOA's standards enforcer. Picture a former corporate drone turned neighborhood Napoleon, with perfectly coiffed hair that never moved in the wind and a smile that could curdle milk. She'd landed here after a nasty split from her high-roller ex, downgrading from a gated mansion to our modest enclave. And boy, did she make sure everyone felt her resentment. Carla wasn't just enforcing rules. She was the rules, patrolling with a tape measure and a notebook, citing folks for everything from slightly faded mailbox paint to inappropriate bird feeders that dared attract the wrong kind of wildlife. "It's for the greater good," she'd coo in that saccharine tone, all while her eyes gleamed with the thrill of domination. For months, I'd parked my patrol SUV in the driveway, standard issue, lights on top, the works. It was policy. Keeps response times quick, Dieter's crime, and hey, the neighbors appreciated the free security boost. Burglaries? Down 20%. Kids playing safer? You bet. But to Carla, it was an abomination, a commercial monstrosity, sullying her vision of pristine suburbia. That fateful morning, as the sun peeked over identical rooftops and sprinklers whispered their daily symphony, she stormed over, her clogs slapping the pavement like tiny thunderclaps. "Excuse me, Mr. Rivera? Or should I say sheriff?" she spat, her voice a mix of faux politeness and venom, jabbing a manicured finger at my vehicle like it had personally offended her ancestors. This eyesore violates Section 3.4 of our covenants. No commercial vehicles overnight. It's dragging down our curb appeal. I leaned against the hood, coffee in hand, biting back a chuckle at her theatrics. "Ma'am, this is my work vehicle. County issued for public safety. It actually boosts property values. Insurance companies love having law enforcement around." Her lips pursed into a thin line, eyes narrowing behind those ridiculous shades. "Oh, really? Sounds like special treatment to me. We have standards here. For families, not for whatever this is." She whipped out her phone, snapping photos like a paparazzo on steroids. "I'll be documenting this. Consider yourself warned." As she clomped away, leaving a trail of overpriced perfume, my girls, Mia and Zoe, peered out the window, their faces etched with confusion. "Dad, is that lady gonna make us move?" Mia whispered later that night, her voice small under the covers. "No, kiddo," I said, ruffling her hair. She's just enthusiastic about rules. We'll sort it. But inside, my investigator's instincts tingled. Carla's overreaction wasn't just Karen-level pettiness. It reeked of something deeper, like a driver sweating bullets over a routine stop. I'd seen it 1,000 times, bullies hiding skeletons. Little did she know, I'd been slandered before. Whispers in the department about my emotional instability after my wife's death. I learned then, stay quiet, observe, strike smart. 3 days later, the certified mail hit like a sucker punch. Thick envelope, HOA seal gleaming like a badge of bogus authority. Formal violation notice, it blared in bold caps. 72 hours to remove the offending vehicle or face fines, liens, the works. And get this copied to my boss, the chief, with a snide note about potential conflicts of interest. Carla was playing dirty, hoping to jam me up at work. I smirked over my lunch sandwich, flipping through the docs. See, in my rush to buy the house, I'd skimmed the HOA fine print rookie mistake. But buried in the appendices was gold. Exemptions for emergency responders. State law backed it, clear as a siren. My reply? A masterpiece of polite savagery, citing statutes, ordinances, even a federal nod to first responders. Perhaps MS. Simmons might review the full covenants before issuing further notices. I wrote, sealing it with a stamp that felt like the first jab in a boxing match. Thought that'd shut her down? 48 hours later, she went full propaganda mode, door to door like a twisted town crier. I watched from my window as she cornered Mrs. Patel next door, gesturing wildly. Think of the children, weapons in driveways, property values plummeting. Her voice carried on the breeze, laced with that manipulative maternal concern that turns rational folks into sheep. By week's end, a petition landed in my box, 8 signatures demanding I respect community harmony by ditching the SUV. 8 out of 50 homes, but Carla spun it like a revolution. The people have spoken, she emailed the neighborhood listserv, her tone dripping sanctimony. That's when I shifted gears. While she rallied her mini-mob, I dug. Public records are a cop's best friend, and Carla's history lit up like a Christmas tree. Past victims galore, the single dad fined for his work van, the elderly widow harassed over holiday lights, too festive. Patterns emerged, targets were always the vulnerable, the newcomers, the ones least likely to push back. And something fishy. Every citation came with recommended fixes from specific vendors. Over coffee with Tom Gwynn, the IT guy she'd cited for his unsightly satellite dish, the puzzle pieces clicked. Man, she's nuts, Tom muttered, steam curling from his mug in his cozy kitchen that smelled of fresh pho. Told me my dish was a visual pollutant, then suggested this overpriced installer, Simmons Solutions, LLC. I nearly choked. Simmons? As in Carla Simmons? He nodded, eyes widening. Yeah, her company. She owns it. Bills the HOA for enforcement, then pockets kickbacks from fixes. Bingo. That night, porch light casting long shadows, I pored over county filings on my laptop. Carla's maiden name, Simmons. Her management firm, incorporated 2 years back. Sole proprietor. Every nitpick, every fine, she profited twice over. Create chaos. Sell the cure. Classic racket, wrapped in suburban smugness. As stars twinkled overhead, I grinned. Carla thought she was queen of the cul-de-sac. She was about to learn queens fall hard. Carla's escalation was pure comedy gold, if you like your laughs laced with arsenic. Wednesday dawned crisp. My girls waving from the bus stop as a city code van rolled up. Lights off but intent clear. Out popped Eddie Ramirez, the inspector, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else, clipboard trembling slightly. "Morning, Sheriff," he grumbled, eyes on his shoes. "Got a report of unauthorized commercial ops here. Claims you're storing hazardous materials without permit." I barked a laugh, spilling coffee. "Eddie, that's my patrol rig. Standard gear. You know this," he sighed, the sound heavy with bureaucracy's weight. "Yeah, but the complainant was insistent. Mentioned guns, radios, the works. Gotta inspect." 20 minutes of farce later, him poking around, me narrating policy, he packed up. Clean as a whistle. But hey, off record, this lady's filed bogus calls before. Like a dozen this year alone. As he drove off, neighbors gawked from their lawns. Carla's timing impeccable for peak gossip hour. By afternoon, the chief hauled me in, his office smelling of stale coffee and stress. "Alex," commissioners breathing down my neck. "Another complaint. Says you're abusing authority to flout rules." I leaned back, calm. "Chief, it's harassment. She's gunning for me." He rubbed his temples. "I know, but politics. Maybe park at the station a while? Let it blow over." Carla's playbook. Not win fair, but wear you down with red tape. Genius, in a slimy way. But she'd made it personal now. No sheriff worth his salt bows to a clipboard tyrant. That evening, a knock, Sarah Jenkins, the schoolteacher she'd fined for excessive flower pots. Casserole in hand, steam wafting like a peace offering, her face thunderous. "Neighborhood huddle at my place. 8 sharp. We're done with her crap." 9 showed up, a ragtag resistance in Sarah's living room, amid kids' toys and the scent of baked cheese. "She's measuring my hedge with a ruler last week," groaned Mr. Lopez, the mechanic. 1 inch over code, then pushes her landscaper pals. Stories poured out. Fines for garish Halloween decor, pumpkins. Folks, pumpkins. Threats over kids' bikes left out, trip hazards. Each with Carla's helpful vendor list. "Wait," I interjected, dots connecting. "All from Simmons-affiliated firms?" Nods all around. "Mrs. Wong pulled up her phone. "Yup. Her LLC owns them. She invents problems, fixes them for profit." The room hushed, realization dawning like a bad hangover. This wasn't zealotry. It was fraud. Racketeering. Patterned right. "Document everything," I said, voice low but electric. "We're taking her down legally." As they filed out, Sarah squeezed my arm. "Thanks for leading this." "Trust me," I replied, eyeing Carla's lit windows across the street. She's led herself right into it. Friday's bomb. Neon pink notices in every mailbox. Screaming urgent board meeting, set for Monday noon, when most worked. Agenda? Addressing persistent violations threatening our way of life. Vague as fog. Sharp as knives. I skipped the spy routine instead. Chatted with a buddy at the AG's office over beers. "Sounds fishy," he said. "Send docs, we'll peek." Monday's meeting was a farce, community hall reeking of mothballs. A dozen attendees, half Carla's cronies. She commanded the podium, PowerPoint blasting doom, graphs of plunging values, faked, obviously, pics of my SUV angled like a war machine. Our children deserve better than this militarized eyesore, she wailed, clutching pearls that weren't there. Weapons in plain sight? What message to buyers? I stood, voice steady. Ms. Simmons, state exemptions apply. Crimes nil since I arrived, facts over fear. But votes? Rigged. 4-1 for $300 daily fines. Comply or lean, she smirked, delivering the notice personally, her grin shark-like. For the community's sake, of course. Her sake was crumbling, though. My AG contact called back. Warrants incoming. Kickbacks confirmed. The pressure mounted like a vice. Tuesday. Another chief summons. Commissioners fielding calls. Your intimidation tactics. Take leave. I held firm. No, sir. This ends soon. Media hit Wednesday. Carla on local news. Teary-eyed victim. This sheriff bullies us with his badge. We're just protecting families. Selective clips made me the villain. Hashtags exploding. Badge bully. HOA warriors. My girls saw it. Eyes wide. Dad. Why's she lying? Sometimes liars yell loudest before the fall. I whispered, hugging them tight. Thursday's nuke. Emergency levy letters, $1,500 per home. To fund legal battles against overreach. Threats of foreclosures for non-payers. Phones rang off hook. Widows panicking. Families furious. This is extortion, yelled Mr. Patel over the line. Exactly, I said, and reported it to the FBI. Agent Hale's voice crackled with glee. Fraud across counties? We're in. Evidence ready. By Friday. As panic peaked, Yvette's knocking. Mom's crying, the net tightened. Carla's records spilled. Emails plotting targets. Hit the low incomes first. Spreadsheets of vulnerabilities. Bank trails of payoffs. Her final media sobfest. Democracy's at stake. Tears fake as her stats. But investigators grilled her vendors. Her board puppets. Snowball to avalanche. Sunday Eve. Tucking the girls in amid whispers of neighbor woes. Bad folks get stopped by good ones, I promised. Monday's annual meeting? Showtime. The gym buzzed. Packed with 80+. Air heavy with sweat and suspense. Carla ascended the stage. Suit crisp. Briefcase bulging. Fellow residents, she beamed. Voice honeyed poison. Tonight, we safeguard our haven from those who flout rules. Slides word. Bogus budgets. My SUV as bogeyman. Climaxing in a $40,000 defense fund. $800 each. Or else. Murmurs rose. Fear palpable. I rose from the rear. Folder in hand. Silence fell like a curtain. Ms. Simmons, I said, striding forward. Before collections, let's discuss your legitimacy. Her smile cracked. Sheriff, this is for compliant members. Actually, I cut in, facing the crowd. Per 2018 bankruptcy filings, this HOA never legally formed post-developer collapse. You've collected fees illegally for years. Gasps erupted. Carla blanched. Mere details. We've maintained order. State police, boomed a voice from the doors. Suits advanced. Badges flashing. Everyone stay put. The lead agent zeroed on her. Carla Simmons, you're under arrest fraud, extortion, racketeering, chaos, shrieks, chairs toppling. Carla froze, briefcase dropping. This is absurd. I'm the victim. Handcuffs clicked as she ranted about conspiracies, the walk of shame, through her victims, heels echoing defeat. Irony peak, transported in my eyesore SUV. As taillights faded, I addressed the stunned crowd. Justice served. Full refunds incoming. Applause thundered, relief washing over like rain. 6 months on. Carla traded power suits for prison orange, 2 years federal. Probation after. Plea deal crumbled under evidence mountains. Her empire dissolved, exposing a dozen fake HOAs statewide. Our neighborhood bloomed. Real elections, Sarah as prez turning meetings into potlucks. My SUV, neighborhood hero. Crime zeroed. Values spiked. Scholarships funded from recoveries. We threw a Freedom Fest block party. Gnomes and lights galore. Laughter echoing where fear once ruled. My girls dreamed big. Mia, prosecutor. Zoe, detective. Professionally, case studies hailed me. Personally, watching neighbors bond, soups shared. Carpools formed, was sweeter. Carla forged unity through her downfall. Moral, tyrants tumble when communities rise. But tell me, in a world of petty rules, was Carla the real criminal, or just a symptom of HOA madness gone unchecked? Drop your thoughts, right or wrong.